Welcome to the All People's Congress Georgia Chapter News Conference being held at Atlanta's public access television station, People TV, in Georgia's state capital. My name is Carrie Williams and I am the CEO of Southeast Region News. The purpose of today's news conference is to begin the official communications of the APC Georgia Chapter to the international community and the Sierra Leonean Diaspora. Specifically, Southeast Region News will be following the international and national media reporting of the actions being taken by the APC Georgia Chapter in support of the President of Sierra Leone, His Excellency the Honorable Ernest Abu Koroma, in his upcoming visit to the United States, to the United Nations, in these coming weeks of September. Today's press conference will begin with a background introductory statement by Georgia's International Public Policy Leader, Mr. Bartell, who will then introduce APC Georgia Chapter's new president, Mr. Abu Bakarr Kanu. We'll then entertain questions from the media and our audience. Mr. Bartell.
Well, good afternoon and good morning. I am Al Bartell. And this communication is to let the public know, particularly the citizens of Sierra Leone, how critical it is for the re-election of President Ernest Abu Koroma. The critical reference point in that election is the All People's Congress located here in the state of Georgia. And here's some reasons why. In the state of Georgia, it is the resting place, the nesting place of the civil rights movement and the future of the civil rights movement. Those organizations were critical in allowing the relationship between Africans and African Americans over the years to be prosperous, and we are now clear that that relationship between Africans and African Americans is critical for the re-election of President Ernest Abu Koroma. It is the reference point of his leadership that has allowed the United Nations to have a much safer existence in its relationship with West Africa. Additionally, two primary committees in the United States Senate, the U.S. Senate Select Committee on Intelligence and the Subcommittee on African Affairs. The ranking members on each one of those committees are United States Senators here in Georgia. So, as such, we must have a reliable organization here in Georgia to further those relationships and sustain that strategy. That organization is the All People's Congress for the state of Georgia. They have new leadership, and that leadership has been elected. It is now positioned to be able to have roundtable discussions, development sessions, symposiums, and conferences. That strategy will ensure the relationship between African Americans and the nation of Sierra Leone is sustainable, reliable, and ongoing, and will allow for the backbone of its relationship with the international community, including the Carter Center and the United Nations, to be a pursuant relationship that can usher in the future for the 21st century. With that, I shall now introduce the President of the All People's Congress for the state of Georgia, Mr. Abu Bakarr Kanu.
Greetings and thank you, Mr. Bartell, for your introduction. Your leadership and support of the APC Georgia Chapter since 2005 has greatly undergirded our efforts in the state of Georgia to affect change in our country, Sierra Leone. You are with us when we committed to making a change in the corruption of our government in 2005 and in January 2006. With your advisement, we began a democracy and freedom initiative at the Carter Center in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. During 2006 and 2007, the APC Georgia Chapter supported and took the leadership in the free and fair elections initiative put forward by the Coalition of Free and Fair Election under the directorship of Ms. Carrie Williams. And in the final months of 2007, our country experienced a peaceful democratic change of government through the most credible, non-violent, free and fair election process in recent history on the continent of Africa. We here in Georgia know the effort it took from the international community, attention and the international media support to ensure that extraordinary achievement for Sierra Leone. Under these conditions, our current president, His Excellency Abu Bakarr Koroma, came into office. This is why we have been vigilant in the APC Georgia Chapter since 2007 in strengthening our capacity in the diaspora of the southeast region of the United States to begin a groundbreaking task for developing Sierra Leone in this critical time in our country's history. As of June 24, 2012, the APC Georgia Chapter held elections, and the outcome of that election brought forth the following leadership. I was fortunate to be elected as the president, Mariam Afofana, the vice president, Mr. Francis Kalon, chapter secretary, Daniel Koroma, organizing secretary, Amara Conte, fundraising director, Jibril Kanu, financial secretary, Saliu Sise, treasurer, Alansan Kuyate, public relations officer, Bai Sise, compliance officer, Zainab Kamara, the women's wing leader, and Marian Touré, assistant women's leader. We now stand ready to ensure the leadership of President Koroma and the development process that has been made in Sierra Leone for his leadership become widely known through our media communication effort for now until November elections in Sierra Leone. This new conference serves as our announcement to the international community and the Sierra Leone diaspora worldwide of our commitment to continue development of Sierra Leone and the critical need of its continuation under the leadership of His Excellency Abu Bakarr Koroma. It is our belief that President Koroma represents not only best examples of what a free and fair movement can bring to Sierra Leone, but what it can bring to the entire continent of Africa. We will be bringing you communication updates as our activities from the state of Georgia to impact the continuation of development in the country of Sierra Leone from the diaspora, including our effort to ensure the re-election of President Abu Bakarr Koroma. This evening with me, I have Mr. Amara Conte, who is our fundraising director, and Mr. Alansan Kuyate, who is our public relations officer. This concludes our official news conference remarks. At this time, we are open for new news conference for questions from the media and the news conference audience.
What are your plans? How can you get this done? How can you impact the election in Sierra Leone? You're here in Atlanta.
I would like to give an opportunity to some of my members that are here today to be able to, to make comments towards that regard. So if I may, if any one of them would like to respond to that specific question.
Can you make that happen? Can you really impact the election?
Yes, we can impact the election. Our efforts, as we've done before, during the 2005, when we were in the opposition, we create a big impact. This being the incumbent, we see it not being as difficult as it was, but by us creating a media impact, make sure that every single Sierra Leonean is informed and bringing an awareness beyond the rural areas, we believe we can create an impact.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Amara Conte, and I'm the fundraising director for the Georgia Chapter APC North America. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm almost absolutely certain that President Koroma will be the next president of the country, and the reasons are this. In fact, we should be thanking President Koroma right now. Everybody in Sierra Leone and West Africa and the Sub-Sahara should be thanking President Koroma, because he has shown not only leadership to his country, but to the entire region and perhaps the world at large. And my reasons for saying this are this. President Koroma, when he came to office, that country was totally devastated. Even though we had a 10-year rule by the opposition party, which is the SLPP, there was hardly anything done, regardless of the tremendous effort from the international community and literally billions of dollars that are being poured into the country, to develop our nation and our people. Within 4 years, in less than 5 years, when President Koroma is elected, he has turned that country absolutely around. And for that reason alone, people see the benefits right away. For that reason alone, I think President Koroma deserves a second term.
As Public Relations Director, what's the message coming from here to the President and to Sierra Leone? What's the message you want him to hear?
I'm Alassane Kouyaté, Public Relations Officer in Georgia. I want the President to know that we're here, and all what is going back in Sierra Leone, we want the world to know. We put in pressure that Sierra Leone should be a country that the world should look up to. The other point I want to make, when President Koroma took over power, he went on the radio and told the world that he's going to change the landscape of Sierra Leone, and that's what he's doing right now. We're going to tell the world that with the President, what he's doing, we're going to help him. It's not only for Sierra Leone, but for generations yet unborn. And I believe he's on the right track. On the infrastructure side, he's doing it. It's not going to be overnight. It's going to take time. But with time, we believe all the goals the President has already set is on the right track. And I believe we will succeed on all of them.
Tell me, what would you tell the President Koroma right now about coming to Atlanta?
The first thing I will talk to the President. Mr. President, Atlanta is a base where you should come. Let the world know that all the promises you've made, you're on it. We're vowing on your behalf on all what you've done. And we believe if you come to Atlanta, the world will listen. And when the world listens, they know what you're doing. In the face of corruption, now we see the development that is going on. If you come out here, let the Atlantic people know that you're working for make this world a better place for all.
President Kanu, finally, is this a political must that he come here? A political power base for his re-election?
Absolutely right. It is absolutely necessary for the President to come to Atlanta. He has proven to the world that he is able and credible president. I mean, to the people of Sierra Leone, he's a able and credible president. Now we see the opportunity to showcase his leadership to the international community. He has been, he was given the responsibility to monitor the election process in Guinea. We want to extend that credibility and that leadership structure, make sure that we create a big media impact wherein the whole international world will recognize that and also build a relationship with the Carter Center. We know that he doesn't create the will by ensuring that the people of Sierra Leone have a free and fair election and give the right of every citizen, make sure that it's represented and has the right to select the candidates of their choice. There is a mandate that was established by the international community, and he is the first president in Africa, based on my understanding and experience, that actually makes sure that is implemented in Sierra Leone. So we see that also see the need to extend that beyond the boundaries of Sierra Leone by promoting him to the international world. After his presidency, possibility for him to take the leadership of the ECOWAS.
Ms. Williams and Mr. Bartell, is this news? Is this good news for America? Is it good news for Africans living in America?
Well, here's why it's good news for America and for Africans living in America. When President Koroma was a candidate, the international community met with him on several occasions. and asked the following reference points. Will you decrease corruption? Will you improve public health? Will you impact transportation? And will you bring in an effective government based on performance? And he said yes to all those questions. So for the international community and for America, he has decreased the corruption in Sierra Leone and has erased it from the books of political operations in that country. As such, the United Nations Secretariat, Ban Ki-moon, used President Koroma's example of decreasing corruption as an international mandate for West Africa. Additionally, in the area of public health, President Koroma has invited the international community, in particularly the African American community and people from America, to improve the conditions of public health in the country of Sierra Leone. In the area of transportation, this man has laid more roads, built more bridges than anybody in the history of West Africa. And lastly, on the economic development front, he has made the conditions for the United Nations Millennium Challenge goals a necessary mandate for all leaders that are going to be elected on the continent of Africa for the future. The critical component in him doing that was building relationships with the United States of America.
And Southeast Region News, Ms. Williams, you can make this happen through this media arm that you're employing with this group?
Yes, sir. Southeast Region News has the capability through its unique ability to get the reach into the Sierra Leonean people's media systems, which are primarily their internet newspaper stations, but also there are key radio listeners throughout the United States in the key metropolitan areas that the Sierra Leonean Diaspora live. So we have those kind of ties, we have those kind of connections. My experience has been that the Sierra Leonean Diaspora has been waiting for this moment, that they have been waiting for President Koroma to finish this first term so that they can show to the international community, yes, this was the right decision for our country. We need him because the situation in Sierra Leone was so severe, so what you might call an emergency room condition in all the vital signs a country could have. No president could physically possibly turn a country around to even a stabilization point in just 4 years. But President Koroma has done an incredible job. And one other point I want to say in terms of President Koroma as a woman and as a mother. But President Koroma has taken an extremely high priority for the welfare of women and children in the country of Sierra Leone. And there are great measures underway right now to bring the health and welfare of women and children as the highest priority to bear through the international community, through economic development initiatives, bringing training and so forth. If you have no other questions, this officially concludes the news conference for the All People's Congress Georgia Chapter. Thank you.